There's something that a lot of people feel in jiu-jitsu. In fact, I would assume I would assume that everyone listening can relate to this. Everyone has their smart side and their dumb side, right? The side that they attack well from, and the side they don't. With butterfly guard, I in my head I'm picturing myself. I picture. Usually I'm sweeping people to my right side. So my left butterfly hook is the one that's lifting the leg and completing the sweep. What advice would you give to people to be able to balance that out? Is that something do you have like one side that you just really commit to, or have you tried throughout your career to make it so that you're dangerous equally on both sides?
So the thing is that like the basic mechanic, I can do on both sides, and people sometimes think that they're gonna push me to one side and they're gonna be safer, and then I can just execute the same sweep. But obviously, I got one side better, one side is a bit weaker. But throughout the years, I developed different tools for different sides. So some things I'm doing only on the right side, some things I'm doing only on left side. This is how it works, and it came very naturally because it's a feeling of your body. Like it's like on one side your body allows you to do this movement a bit easier, on the other side it's the other one. But also I'm like actively working on the training to fill that gap, and I try to work on my weaker side as much as possible, just to make it as dangerous as the good one. So this is another thing about like being very like aware that you're the one programming your training. So of course you can always push your opponent towards your better side and get an easy move, but this is not the training is not about easy stuff. Or you wanna develop. So I always try to work on my weaker spot. So I'm always picking like the worst side to sweep, or at least I'm trying. At least I'm pushing myself with my mind. Okay, switch the side now. Work on the weak spot here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder what causes that. I wonder if it's just that when you're learning a technique, you just naturally gravitate towards one side. And then because you've repeated that over and over again, maybe you've just built up some muscle memory to tell your brain, hey, we sweep with the butterfly this way. And I wonder what that is. I'd be interested to talk to someone that understands the human brain better than I do.
I think it's very much connected with us being like right-handed or left-handed. You're always more comfortable with one side. Sure. There's just not so many people who are comfortable with both sides in the same way, So I think it's pretty much connected with that. And when we're like starting jiu-jitsu, and we're fresh and we're like craving victory so much, I think we're always pushing towards our better side as much as possible. And then after years, we're becoming more conscious about development and filling the gaps, and then we're trying to work on our weaker side a bit more, I guess.
That's awesome. Well, I really like how you pointed out that you have sometimes rather than sharpening the exact same technique on the other side, you'll have other tools altogether for the other side. And I can imagine that could really keep your opponent, guessing and having to be cautious, knowing that, hey, I'm not defending the exact same thing left to right. I'm defending this on the right side. Then over here, something completely different is being thrown at me that I have to defend in a completely different way. So that's really interesting stuff, man. I like that. We mentioned earlier that the single leg X is another follow-up position to the butterfly guard that you use very well. Also happens to be one of my favorite open guard variations as well. What are some of your favorite options from single leg X? What kind of things do you think are like your A game when it comes to that position?
So to be honest, I stick with basics. I would say the most fancy stuff I do is like overhead sweep. But I stick to basics like hip bump and technical stand-up, or like technical stand-up variations. And I just try to mix them and use a lot of off balance. So my opponent is constantly defending, and then I can, like I said before, I'm always willing to get double leg control. Whenever I can get both legs, it's an easy sweep. But yeah, I pretty much stick to basics: hip bump, technical stand up, plus overhead, and some attacks like fake overhead, omoplata, and triangle. But I pretty much stick to basics. To be honest, my jiu-jitsu is very simple. I rather than like building like the big technical base, I like to refine techniques and work on connections. So there's like less techniques I'm very comfortable with, and I can like trust 100%. But whenever I get into my game, I can switch between those techniques pretty easily and smoothly, and yeah, they work very well together. And even though they're like very simple tools, they just because they're all together, they're very efficient.